Things are happening at Arsenal. After smashing in 7 in Eindhoven, a trip to Old Trafford looms, alongside some massive decisions. So today we'll get the breaking news on Arsenal's brand new sporting director, reveal a brand new forward opportunity, as well as getting the breaking news on Nwaneri. We'll find out who Mikel Arteta will be starting in the must-win game against Manchester United. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bas14, welcome back to your boys channel. After the high of Eindhoven, 7 goals smashed past them. Not only is another big game looming, but also the breaking news on a new sporting director. As per, smash a like on this video if you enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help your boy on his road to 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with Arsenal's season savers. In a year where things have definitely been difficult, falling short in the title race, pivotal injuries at key moments of the season, Tuesday night was definitely a bright point. With Arsenal going to a Champions League away game, becoming the first ever team to score 7, with Arsenal owner Josh Kroenke in attendance, having been in London over the past few weeks, as Arsenal look to finalise their new sporting director, what he would have also seen is 2 star boys. 17-year-old Nwaneri and 18-year-old Max Dowman, both involved in Arsenal's second goal, as they became the first ever teenage English duo in Champions League history to combine for a goal in the knockout stages. A goal made in Islington but scored in Eindhoven, in what is a pivotal part of the project, where in 2020 it was saved by Saka and Smith Rowe. Hill End has chefed up yet another duo. These two arguably even more complete, as Arsenal released a fantastic video, showing a journey of Miles and Ethan from youngsters, celebrating in the under 14s, to now doing it in the Champions League knockout stages. Seeing Ethan do the exact same celebration, from the academy to the first team, how can you not fall in love with this story? 2 Arsenal players through and through. In Ethan himself, a player that rejected a massive contract from Chelsea and Man City who tried to sign him. Players that have not only been given a chance but they have taken it with both hands. Revelations in an Arsenal team that has needed it. And it looks like the takeover could be going international, as confirmed by Sammy Mokbel. Internally at the FA, the prospect of Ethan Nwaneri going straight into the England senior squad is not completely ruled out, but there is also a view that he would benefit from at least one call-up with the under-21s. There is also a feeling that Miles Dowman is ready for a promotion into at least the under-21s, under a new manager in Thomas Tuchel. Arsenal are giving England quite a few talents, from Bukayo Saka shining at the World Cup at the Euros, to now the emergence of Ethan Nwaneri and Max Dowman. These are players playing well above the age, with Ethan himself setting records, as he became the 3rd youngest player ever in Champions League history to score on the knockout stages, behind Bohan and Jude Bellingham, ahead of Musiala and Mbappe, while also becoming the 3rd youngest Premier League goalscorer in Champions League history, behind Ramsey and Fabregas, 2 Arsenal players, on a list that also has Oxlade-Chamberlain, Walcott and Wilshere. An Arsenal star boy doing it in the Champions League seems to be heritage, for a player that has now been named Arsenal's official February Player of the Month. As Declan Rice said after the game against PSV, a 17-year-old playing at the biggest stage of football, it's crazy, with a performance that looked cultured, looking like an established pro, with a bagload of experience, reliably providing Arsenal moment after moment on the right-hand side, very much in Bukayo Saka-esque fashion. That's now 8 goals and 1 assist, in just over 1,000 minutes played this season, with a finish that showed instincts, arriving into the box at the perfect time, connecting with the ball so cleanly. Mikel Arteta has mentioned in the past about the prospect of Ethan playing as a number 9. When you then see his urge to go and score, his decisiveness in the final third, alongside elite level ball striking, you start to think about the prospect of a false 9 player. With the return of Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, Ethan for me is a pure shooter, a player with only one thing on his mind: get the ball and go and score. At 17 years of age, having now scored more non-penalty Champions League knockout stage goals than Chelsea legend Eden Hazard. I talked about it earlier in the year and I got crucified, saying that I saw a talent at the same level of Lamine Yamal, but yet to get the opportunities. But the thing with elite youngsters is, no matter how hard it is to get into the team, quality always shines through. But now a shout out to today's sponsor Manual. Low energy, poor sleep, or trouble focusing, these may seem like everyday struggles, something that even your boy goes through, but they actually could be a sign of low testosterone. With 1 of 4 men suffering from it, yet 90% remaining undiagnosed. Even those days where you have those 8 hours of sleep and you still feel tired, your mind isn't as sharp as it should be. It's something that your boy can relate to because I experience it so often, whether it's the stress of life or the biggest stress of Arsenal. That's where Manual come in, the UK's trusted men's healthcare company, making it easier than ever to check your testosterone levels with their at-home testosterone blood test. This simple fingerprint blood test takes just minutes to complete at home, with all instructions clearly included inside the box. All you've got to do is use their Lancet to take a sample of your blood, top it into the blood collection vial, then send it off, and within days, you will receive detailed results on your total and free testosterone levels, reviewed of course by medical experts. If your levels are low, Manual's testosterone replacement therapy provides expert support, offering a personal treatment plan to help restore your balance. Do not ignore your signs. athletes, like many of us do, take control of your health today by clicking the link in the bio and using the code BAV45 for a whopping 45% off your at-home testosterone blood test. Having felt the fatigue itself, it's something that your boy is definitely going to do, because the changes could be massive. But bringing it back to the Arsenal Wonder Kids, with another academy star coming through, Max Dowman, sharing a photo of Ethan and Miles and their journey into the first team. Let's just say you could be next, buddy, as Mikel Arteta sent a great message for any player at Hale and academy players that have left recently. I guarantee if there's a player in the academy that can impact and help the first team, they are going to be with the first team. We want to keep our players from the academy to be successful with the first team. The next man coming through is of course a star boy in Max Dowman, who only at 15 years of age is already playing for the under 18s and shining. The prime example in Arsenal's last game against Man United, bursting past multiple players, getting into the box and getting a penalty, which he then went on to score. A profile that looks like a crazy talent, a high-level ball carrier who always demands the ball, with an eye for a passing behind. Hell End is making a habit of producing top left-footed players. In a game that if you watch his highlights, you'll see signs of Martin Odegaard, with a similar gait and how he drives with the ball, but the profiles are definitely different. Where Odegaard is more reliant on his passing, Dowman is showing the physical ability to burst past players, giving Arsenal a dynamic youngster, which for Arsenal is absolutely perfect. A profile in which the squad had lacked before the arrival of Miles and Ethan, players comfortable playing under pressure. What I love the most about Max Dowman is the fact that he has a selfish streak, something that every top player has, where you know you're a level above the rest. You demand the ball because you know you can beat players. Ball carriers are system breakers. They are players reliant on individual quality that no matter what tactic you play, they have the ability to break you down. He's still only 15, so we have to be patient, but having seen Mikel fast track Ethan and Miles, one can only wonder come pre-season, is Max going to be a part of the tour? For now, he can focus on his GCSEs, as Hill End continues to produce, ranking now as the 5th highest in the world for total peak value of academy players produced. We are definitely different to the likes of Cobham, where Chelsea are able to produce a high quantity. Arsenal are showing a different level of quality, only a few players making it through, who when they do arrive, boy do they look exciting. But in the case of getting overexcited, let's just say that was definitely David Raya, as he burst into the Arsenal defence in the game that he was clearly getting bored in. As Arsenal cruised their way into all but securing a place in the Champions League quarter-finals, Mikel Arteta also deserves credit for a super sub, with Miles taken off in the 35th minute to prevent any chance of a second yellow card. On came Ricardo Calafuri to make history, becoming the first defender since 2003 or 4 to score and assist after coming on the Champions League game, seeing a left back pop up at centre forward, then find his way into the right half space, finish instinctively on his weaker foot. As Mikel Arteta says, he certainly has the capacity to flow in areas that for a defender is very unusual. That is something that caught my eye. The other that he is very chaotic, very unpredictable to play against. Chaos is the perfect word to describe Ricardo Calafuri, a player always trying to play on the front foot. Going forwards, what we are seeing is a player who relies on instincts. Having seen it at Man City in the success of Josko Gvardiol, Mikel Arteta's fullbacks are just as important, especially when you look at Yuri and Timber. Having lost his last 5 games against PSV for rivals Ajax, winning 7-1 was massive. Back in his home and scoring an important goal, this guy is a fundamental part of our build-up play. From playing as a centre-back in the build-up phase, to then crashing the far post as an attacking fullback. With the quality of fullback that Arsenal possess, Mikel is going unconventional, where on the left-hand side it was a lot more narrow, on the right-hand side is a lot more spaced out, with the whole idea being about adapting, knowing that you don't have a centre-forward fit, but trying to find different avenues to get in behind. That's what we've got to talk about the captain Martin Odegaard, with 2 goals and 1 assist and a promising performance. As Odegaard said after the game, this season personally, I haven't been good enough, but 2 goals and an assist, and a man of the match is a good step. This game for him was gargantuan. In the first half that he was looking indecisive, Declan Rice had to show him the goal itself. You could see a player once again catching flow, growing into the second half and growing in confidence. In an era that Arsenal will have a massive dilemma going forwards, with the return of Bukayo Saka potentially weeks away, where Odegaard might be our current number 10, with the quality of Ethan Nwaneri, how is Mikel Arteta going to use them all together? Alongside a decision on a £35 million player. We are talking about Fabio Vieira, who has now got 4 goals and assists in his last 4 games for Porto, consistently putting above 7.6 ratings. That is exactly what Mikel Arteta wants to see. Having loaned Fabio with no option to buy, the idea of giving him game time and getting confidence, we are finally seeing signs of a player who I still have a lot of belief in. But in terms of someone going under the radar, we have to talk about our defensive midfielder in Declan Rice, who in 2025 has created a whopping 13 big chances, the highest of any player ahead of Salah and Odegaard, with another fantastic assist in the game against PSV. Arsenal's Champions League form continues to be excellent. 8 games, 6 wins and 6 clean sheets, a whopping 23 goals scored and only 4 conceded. According to the stats now, we have a 100% chance of qualifying for the quarter-finals, having now won 5 Champions League games in a row for the first time since 2005-06, a year that Arsenal got into the Champions League final A trip to Madrid is looming, with Real winning the first leg 2-1. The tie is to win the balance, but for Arsenal fans the question is still there. Who would you rather face, Real or Atletico? On one side, the defensive demon of Diego Simeone, against the inevitable quality of Real Madrid, Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo and Vinicius. I would actually prefer to play Real Madrid, with the logic behind that being playing to our strengths. Having seen our attack suffer in so many games, the idea of playing against a Simeone mid-block is something that I don't want to see. But when you've got the quality of Gabriel and Saliba, Timber and Ben White on the right hand side, Miles and Calafrio on the left, protected by Partey and Rice as well, Madrid have world-class attackers that can beat anyone. But if you ask me what I'd rather rely upon, I definitely choose defense over attack, the one area that Arsenal is still fully strength. But going forwards, we could be about to get better, with the potential return of Bukayo Saka after the international break, a player second to only Kevin De Bruyne for chances created per 90 in the Premier League this season. Despite having not played since December, he still has 22 goals and assists in all competitions, more than Palmer and Foden, who have played a lot more minutes. The idea of the starman returning ahead of a trip to the Bernabeu, while might be exciting, we also have to be cautious. Coming off a hamstring tear that is so hard to recover from, Mikel Arteta will have to be careful. In terms of Gabriel Martinelli, having been called up alongside Gabriel Magalhaes for the upcoming international break, the signs are pointing towards a return. So a Trossard catching form on the left-hand side, Marino doing a job up front, Ethan firing on the right. Where do you guys think Gabriel Martinelli will play? Moving on to Arsenal's new sporting director. After a January window where Arsenal clearly felt short, despite defeating around Edu Gaspar, not having a sporting director definitely had an impact. That's why it's so important that Arsenal get this next step right. And according to Sammy Mokbel, the shortlist for Arsenal's new sporting director has been weighted down to 4 candidates, with the final round of internal discussion still to take place. Andrea Berta is among the shortlisted contenders, as is interim director Jason Ito, having impressed internally during his temporary stint in the position. The fact that Ito has been a part of the process of putting together Arsenal's summer transfer plans is viewed as an advantage by certain figures at the club, though other influential individuals see the merits in making an experienced high-profile external appointment. And that's the key part that I want to hear. The idea of Jason Ito is still quite unknown. As football fans, we don't have quite a lot of insight on what happens with a sporting director. What we think about is transfers, signing players and getting them done as soon as possible. But the role of a sporting director is a lot bigger, overseeing the entire project, from first team to academy, making sure that Arsenal have the environment off the field that can translate to success on the field. That's why Arsenal have identified Andrea Berta, a man of elite European pedigree. Over 10 years of working at Atletico Madrid, a team that has not just won La Liga and European trophies, they've got to Champions League finals. Despite not spending like Real or Barca, they have remained competitive consistently. So as Ben Jacobs confirms, Andrea Berta has emerged as a leading candidate for Arsenal's new sporting director. Berta has been taking English lessons and is keen on the role, with Arsenal having 5 names on the shortlist. No approach so far to Luis Campos. According to Fabrizio, negotiations are at an advanced stage between Arsenal and Berta, who is giving us his priority, with all parties confident of getting an agreement done this month. According to Matteo Moretto, Berta is close to becoming Arsenal's new sporting director. A man voted in 2019 as the Globe Soccer Director of the Year. There's a reason why I prefer him over Jason Ito. When you've got a coach as strong-minded as Mikel Arteta, you need someone with the experience to challenge him, with the idea of creating a balanced environment. Having worked with one of the strongest personalities in world football, in Diego Simeone, Berta has shown that he's capable. It seems like a decision is around the corner, with March being the month that Arsenal expect an announcement. The first thing for Berta will be a brand new midfielder, with the potential arrival of Martins and Mendy set to happen. According to Charles Watts, Thomas Partey's exit is looking more and more likely as the summer approaches. Still no talks over a new deal, with the midfield changes planned. Partey has strong interest from Europe, despite being a key player for Arsenal this season, showing that he can stay fit and available. It seems like Arsenal want to revitalise their midfield. The arrival of Zubimendi, a player in the peak of his powers, but with Jorginho also set to leave as well, another midfielder is also expected. That's why you might have had Joshua Kimmich. But according to Florian Plamberg, Arsenal have been one of the clubs with concrete interest after holding talks with Kimmich, a player that put up a masterclass in the Champions League with another 9.1 rating, 10 accurate long balls and 2 big chances created. When you get that quality available on the market potentially for free, it made sense for Arsenal to have the interest. But as Kimmich said himself, my plan was to make a decision before the international break, but the club didn't want that, which is legitimate. There will be a decision soon. It looks like the player is staying in Germany. As Fabrizio Romano confirmed, Kimmich and Bayern have exchanged all documents for a new deal valid until June 2029. With the agreement now in place and the deal set to be signed very soon, Kimmich never advanced talks with any other club. The question then becomes, who else could Arsenal look into? Or are you of the opinion that we should be keeping Thomas Partey? But for an Arsenal team that ranks right in the middle, for shots taken per game and XG per shot, miles behind the likes of Liverpool, despite scoring 7 from an XG of 2.35, in the game against PSV, in the 2 games prior Arsenal only had a combined 3 shots on target. So with the potential rival of Andrea Berta, after working at Atletico Madrid, a club known for signing elite level strikers. According to David Ornstein, Arsenal have done a significant amount of work on many strikers, but none more than Benjamin Sesko. This does not mean they're guaranteed to sign him, due to interest in Alexander Isak, and they are not the only club pursuing him. But for a player who reports have confirmed has a fixed release clause in his contract, able to be activated this summer, a price up to 80 million euros, translating to around 66 million pounds. For a player that has smashed in 17 goals this year, I actually think that's fair value. But in terms of the market opportunities, according to Sacha Tavaleri, with Arsenal waiting to formalise their new sporting director, Andrea Berta, he is also expected to make an offer for Jonathan David in the coming weeks. A player that we've talked about many times over the previous years, but never seems to get a move. This summer he will be out of contract and available on a free transfer, with a clear level of goal scoring pedigree, on his third consecutive season of 20 plus goals, having bagged a whopping 105 goals in 221 games for Lille. Now at 25 years of age and the peak of his powers, it is definitely an opportunity. But with the likes of Sesko definitely being the priority, David for me is more a secondary option. A forward you main time on top of your main target, but he's not as important as a wide forward. For now the focus turns to Manchester, as Arsenal go to Old Trafford in a massive game against a team currently sat 14th in the Premier League. As Arsenal train at the Emirates Stadium, ahead of the trip to Old Trafford, in terms of team news, Arsenal will have Miles Lewis-Skelly back available, with Mikel Arteta having a massive choice to make, with opposition manager Ruben Amorim saying, "We need to survive against Arsenal on Sunday. The team was so tired in the last 20 minutes against Real Sociedad, everybody can start if they were training today." Not only are Arsenal the majority favourites, they also have a chance to become the first team in Premier League history to have 5 consecutive wins against Man United, if we get over the line on Sunday. With confidence high after scoring 7 against PSV, I expect United to be a lot more defensive. But for Amorim in what feels like phase -1, when asked whether his struggles were similar to Mikel Arteta at the start of his tenure, he says the way that Arteta dealt with it is an inspiration for everybody, but I will not have the same time Arteta had. For as bad as Man United have been, we can't forget what he has inherited. A £70 million striker in Rasmus Højlund, one of the world's most exciting defenders in Lenny Euro, alongside the likes of Bruno Fernandes, for a team that has cost close to £1 billion. As pointed out here, both managers took over the team in 13th, with Arteta 2 months deep into the season. Arteta took us from 13th to 8th, with 1.38 points per game to 1.65, alongside winning the FA Cup, whereas Amorim has taken him from 13th to 14th, 1.22 points per game, down to 1.13. There's giving a manager time and then there's being delusional. Despite Arteta's early struggles, he actually ranks as the 5th highest manager in Premier League history for most wins after 200 games, higher than Benitez and Arsene Wenger, slightly behind Sir Alex Ferguson. This is why I always find the Arteta talk a bit disingenuous. Granted, he does need to win self-aware, but when you look at the list and you remember, this is Mikel's first ever job out of all managers in league history to get 89 plus points. We're talking Ferguson, Wenger, Guardiola, Klopp, Mourinho and Conte. You've also got Mikel Arteta. Having taken Arsenal from a stage where we were begging for Champions League to now we're demanding a title, I do agree with the fact that Slot winning a title in his first year will be painful. For a guy whose team is currently 13 points clear. According to referee Michael Oliver, after a 2-2 draw against Everton, in which a foul wasn't given to Liverpool, Slot approached him and said, "If we don't win the league, I will effing blame you." Which I do find a bit funny, because if referees had done their jobs, I don't think Arsenal would be 13 points behind. For a Liverpool team also in the Carabao Cup final, set to face a Newcastle side, without Gordon, Botman and Lewis Hall, Arne Slot has been amazing, but I'm not sure if he's the guy to be blaming referees. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today. I'd have a massive game against Man United at Old Trafford on Sunday. It won't be easy, but we are the majority favourites, and after a win against PSV on Tuesday, we have to keep the confidence going, because happy Arsenal fans means happy people across the entire planet, and that is what we need. So my friends, I'll see you guys next time. Take care. And thanks.